Good morning, students. In this class, we are going to discuss some extra syllabus related to acids. That is, what is meant by basicity of an acid? What is meant by basicity of an acid? See, basicity means here number of replaceable. Suppose what is meant by basicity here? The number of replaceable hydrogen atoms present in an acid. Number of replaceable hydrogen atoms present in an acid which it can release when dissolved in water. The number of replaceable hydrogen atoms present in an acid which it can release when dissolved in water. So, or you can define in other manner also. Number of H plus ions released, the number of H plus ions released when 1 mole of an acid is dissolved in water. 1 mole of an acid is dissolved in water. So that is called as basicity of an acid. The number of replaceable hydrogen atoms present in an acid which it can release when dissolved in water, or number of H plus ions released when 1 mole of acid is dissolved in water. That is called basicity of an acid. For example, you take HCl. HCl, if you dissolve in water, how many H plus ions are produced? H plus aqueous plus Cl minus aqueous. Here, since 1 H plus ion is furnished when 1 mole of HCl is dissolved in water, here 1 mole of H plus ions are furnished. So here this is called monobasic acid. What we call this one? Monobasic acid. That means basicity, those acids whose basicity is equal to 1, because it can furnish only 1 H plus ion. So it is called monobasic acid. Example, HCl. See here, HCl, when you treat with NaOH, what happens? NH plus Cl minus, Na plus OH minus. So here what you will get? NaCl plus H2O. You already know this equation. Here, how many H plus ions are displaced by sodium ions? Here 1 H plus ion is displaced by sodium ion. So that's why basicity is 1. Number of replaceable hydrogen atoms present in an acid which it can release when dissolved in water. Suppose if I treat with any base, here how many H plus ions are replaced? So 1 H plus ion is replaced. So basicity of an acid is 1. In the same manner, you take nitric acid aqueous. This is also an example. Nitric acid splits into H plus aqueous plus NO3 minus aqueous. Right? H plus aqueous plus NO3 minus aqueous. So here also 1 H plus ion is there. So here the basicity is 1. So acids can be classified into monobasic, dibasic, tribasic, etc. Depending upon the number of replaceable hydrogen atoms present in it. So classification of acids based on basicity. Here first one is monobasic acid. Here basicity is 1. Now you can take acetic acid here. In this acetic acid, see here, even though it has got 4 hydrogens in it, but how many hydrogens it can release? CHCO minus plus H plus aqueous. Since number of H plus ions released is only 1, so here basicity, even though it contains 4 hydrogens, only 1 hydrogen undergoes participate in this process. So basicity of acetic acid, this is an example of monobasic acid. So students, from these examples you can say, in all the 3 cases, HCl, HNO3, acetic acid, basicity of an acid is equal to 1. So in the same manner, now what is meant by dibasic acid? So dibasic acid, here in the name itself you can say basicity equal to how much? In case of dibasic acid, basicity is equal to 2. So for example, you take sulfuric acid, Na2SO4 aqueous. So it splits into how much? 2H plus aqueous plus SO4 2 minus aqueous. SO4 2 minus aqueous. So here how many H plus ions are released? 2 H plus ions. So what is the basicity of the acid? 2. So here if you draw the structure of sulfuric acid, see here, this is the structure of sulfuric acid. So here the bond gets cleaved, O minus H plus. Here also O minus H plus. So because of this, here bond gets cleaved, H plus ion is released. Here the bond gets cleaved, so 2 H plus ions are released in this manner. So basicity is, for this is basicity equal to 2, right? So in the same manner, suppose if you treat sulfuric acid with 2 moles NaOH, so what you are going to get? Na2SO4 plus 2H2O, neutralization reaction. So here how many hydrogen atoms are replaced? Here 2 hydrogen atoms are replaced by 2 sodium atoms. So that's why the basicity of sulfuric acid is 2. Basicity of sulfuric acid is 2. In the same manner, students, here I am taking some more examples here. One more example for dibasic, H3PO3. What is H3PO3? Somewhat extra syllabus for NTSC. H3PO3, this is a dibasic acid. It is a dibasic acid. Why it is a dibasic acid? See here, students, here even though for looking at this, if you look at this, 3 hydrogens you are going to see, but if you observe the structure carefully, here H3, see carefully here, if you observe the structure carefully, OH, OH, H. See here, this is the exact structure of H3PO3. This is the exact structure. Here you can see where see pH bond is strong. It's very difficult to break pH bond, but it is very easy to break OH bond. O minus H plus. O minus H plus. So here this hydrogen is released and here this hydrogen is released. So if you split this H3PO3, H3POC aqueous, so here how many H plus ions you can produce? Only 2 H plus ions, 2 H plus aqueous plus HPO3, HPO3 2 minus. These ions are produced, right? So that's why it is a dibasic acid, H3PO3. And the same manner, one more example, carbonic acid. You already know it's a weak acid, carbonic acid. So if you take carbonic acid, so here also if it splits, what you are going to get 2H plus aqueous plus CO3 2 minus aqueous. This is carbonic acid. So here also if you observe the structure, of carbonic acid, that is H2CO3, here OH, here OH. So how many? Here also 2 OH bonds, O minus H plus, O minus H plus. So how many H plus ions are released from this? 2 H plus ions are released and remaining CO3 2 minus carbonate ion. So if you treat H2CO3 with NaOH, so what you are going to get? Na2CO3 plus H2O, Na2CO3 plus 2H2O. So here also you can see 2 hydrogen atoms are displaced by 2 sodium atoms. So basicity of this acid is 2. So H3PO3 means, what is the name for this H3PO3? Phosphorus acid. What is this? Phosphorus acid. Okay, this is called carbonic acid. All these are examples of dibasic acids. Next, tribasic acid. What is meant by tribasic acid, students? Here in the name itself, you can say basicity is equal to 3. Basicity is equal to 3, that is tribasic acid. Okay, H3, example H3PO4. What we call this H3PO4? Phosphoric acid. Phosphoric acid is the H3PO4, P double bond O, OH, OH, OH. H3PO4. This is called phosphoric acid. So H3PO4 aqueous, it splits into 3H plus aqueous. See here, plus PO4 3 minus aqueous. Phosphate ion symbol already you know. So 3H plus ions are released. From where it will release? Here the bond gets cleaved. O minus H plus. Here O minus H plus. Here O minus H plus. These 3 H plus ions are released in this manner. So 3H plus plus PO4 3 minus. So this is called phosphoric acid. So see, for example, H3PO4 interacts with 3 moles of NaOH. See, in this equation you can see Na3PO4 plus 3H2O. See, in this equation 3 hydrogen atoms are displaced by 3 sodium atoms. 3 hydrogen atoms are displaced by 3 sodium atoms. That's why, what is the basicity of this acid? What is the basicity of this acid? 3. Basicity of this acid is 3. So conclusion point, students, here one point you have to remember. Basicity of an acid doesn't depend upon the number of hydrogen atoms present, but it depends upon the number of replaceable hydrogen atoms. So what point you have to remember, students? Basicity of an acid doesn't depend upon the number of hydrogen atoms present, but depends on number of replaceable hydrogens, number of replaceable hydrogen atoms. So that is the conclusion point. Basicity of an acid doesn't depend upon the number of hydrogen atoms present, but depends upon the number of replaceable hydrogens. For example, you take acetic acid. See here, how many hydrogens are there? Here 3. 3 plus 1. Here 4 hydrogens are there. But if you treat with NaOH, here CH3COONa plus H2O. See here, O minus H plus, Na plus OH minus. Here how many hydrogens? Here how many hydrogens are being displaced? Out of 4, only 1 hydrogen atom is being displaced by sodium, COO minus Na plus. So from this, basicity of an acid, acetic acid is equal to 1 only, because 1 replaceable hydrogen is there in this equation. So that's why basicity of an acid doesn't depend upon number of hydrogen atoms present, but it depends upon the number of replaceable hydrogen atoms. So that is the important point what you have to remember. Next definition, students, what is meant by acidity of a base? Previously we have discussed basicity of an acid. Now this is a statement. What is the statement, students? Acidity of a base. See here, the name it says base na. We are discussing about bases now. So what is the definition for this? The number of replaceable hydroxyl groups. Number of replaceable hydroxyl groups means here OH minus ions. Number of replaceable hydroxyl groups present in a base. Number of replaceable hydroxyl groups present in a base which can release hydroxyl ions, when dissolved in water. Number of replaceable hydroxyl groups, OH minus ions, present in a base which can release hydroxyl ions when dissolved in water. OH minus ions when dissolved in water, or number of replaceable hydroxyl groups, you can say. So, or one more easy definition, the number of OH minus ions released, number of hydroxyl ions released when 1 mole of base is dissolved in water. See, if you dissolve any base in water, it releases how many OH minus ions are released. The number of OH minus ions released or furnished when 1 mole of a base is dissolved in water, that is called acidity of a base. Number of OH minus ions released when 1 mole of base is dissolved in water, that is called acidity. So depending upon the number of OH minus ions released, suppose if only 1 OH minus ion is released, acidity of that base is 1. So here also we can classify them. Monoacidic base. What is here monoacidic base means? Acidity of that base of a base is equal to 1. For those compounds, acidity of a base is equal to 1. That means only 1 OH minus ions can be released. For example, NaOH aqueous. So how many ions it can release? Na plus OH minus ion. How many OH minus ions are furnished? Here I dissolved 1 mole of NaOH in water. I got 1 mole of OH minus ions aqueous here. In the same manner, potassium hydroxide aqueous. So here what you will get? K plus aqueous plus OH minus aqueous. So number of OH minus ions released in this also 1. So acidity of this base is equal to 1. I think you understood. See, for example, in the same manner you can take diacidic base. So diacidic base means, what is meant by diacidic base? Acidity is equal to 2. In case of diacidic base, acidity is equal to 2. So for example, you take calcium hydroxide aqueous, it splits into Ca2 plus, when it is dissolved in water, how many hydroxyl groups are released? How many OH minus ions are released here? 2 OH minus ions released. So basicity is equal to 2. Basicity is equal to 2. In the same manner, suppose if you treat calcium hydroxide with HCl, neutralization reaction, what you will get? CaCl2 plus 2H2O. So in this equation, how many OH minus ions are displaced by chloride ions? How many OH minus ions are there? 2 OH minus ions are there. Here 2 OH minus ions are displaced by 2 chloride ions. How many replaceable OH minus ions are there in calcium hydroxide? 2. That's why what is its basicity? 2. So in the same manner, you take magnesium hydroxide. So magnesium hydroxide aqueous, so it splits into Mg2 plus aqueous plus 2 OH minus. How many OH minus ions are produced here, students? 2 OH minus ions are produced. So for example, if you take MgOH twice, you interact this one with 2HCl. So what you are going to get? MgCl2 plus 2H2O. So from this equation here, 2 OH minus ions are displaced by 2 Cl minus ions. So what is its basicity here? Basicity is equal to 2. So here also basicity is equal to 2. So all these are examples of diacidic bases. In the same manner, what is meant by triacidic base? So in this triacidic base, so here example, triacidic base means here basicity of that particular compound is equal to 3. Basicity is equal to 3. For example, you take aluminum hydroxide. Aluminum hydroxide interacts with 3HCl to give AlCl3 plus 3H2O. AlCl3 plus 3H2O. See how many OH minus ions are displaced? 3. Suppose if you dissolve AlOH thrice in water, so what you will get? Al3 plus aqueous plus 3OH minus aqueous. So here also number of OH minus ions, here 3. So in the same manner you can take chromium hydroxide, CrOH thrice. Here also Cr3 plus aqueous. What you will get? 3OH minus aqueous. So here also you are going to get basicity equal to 3. Here also basicity is equal to 3. So same manner if you take CrOH thrice, treat with HCl. So what you will get here? CrCl3 plus 3H2O. So here also in this, from this equation, here the 3 OH groups are displaced by 3 chlorine atoms. Hence the basicity, acidity of a particular base is equal to 3. Of a particular base is equal to 3. So I think you understood, students. We have discussed basicity, acidity. Okay, right. Now next what we have to discuss is, we are going to discuss about a new topic, that is indicators for testing acids and bases. Indicators for testing acids and bases. See, you already know about neutralization reaction. Acid reacts with base to form salt in water. So experimentally, how can you conclude that reaction has taken place? So how can you conclude? I have taken a beaker, HCl, it is colorless. I have other one, sodium hydroxide. I mixed 1 mole of HCl with 1 mole of NaOH. So again I am going to get colorless solution. So how can I detect that chemical reaction has completed? How can I decide the neutralization reaction has come to an end? So how can you predict it? That can be predicted by using indicators. So indicators are those substances. So generally what is meant by indicators are those substances which indicate the end point of the reaction. End point means, end point represents the neutralization reaction has come to an end. So indicators are those substances which indicate the completion of the chemical reaction. So how can it indicate? Generally, what is meant by an indicator means, indicator is a dye. Dye means color imparting substance. You know, it is a dye that changes. It is a dye, organic dye that changes its color. That changes color when it is put in an acid or a base, right? You understood now? Indicator is a dye that changes color when it is put in an acid or a base. Suppose if you add indicator to acid, definitely some color change. With the help of that color change only, you can conclude that the reaction has come to an end. So indicator is a dye that changes color when it is put in an acid or a base. So these indicators, suppose they give different colors. They give different colors. That point is important. They give different colors in acid and base. They give different colors in acid and base. So indicator is a dye that changes color when it is put in an acid or a base. They give different colors in acid and base. So here, what are the generally there are three common indicators are there. There are three common indicators. What are those three common indicators for testing acids and bases? See, first there is an indicator here, that is litmus. Generally litmus indicator. So already you know the other one is methyl orange. What is the other indicator? Methyl orange. And the other one is phenolphthalein. Phenolphthalein. Be careful with the spellings. Phenolphthalein. So here remember that litmus, coming to the point of litmus, generally this litmus may exist in paper format, litmus paper, or litmus solution. In solution format it will be available. See, actually litmus is a natural indicator. Litmus is a natural indicator. So actually it is a purple color dye. It is a purple colored dye. It is a natural indicator. Litmus is a natural indicator, purple colored dye. Okay, which is extracted. It is extracted from a plant. It is extracted from a plant called lichen. What is that? Lichen. Litmus is extracted from a plant called lichen. See, actually this is purple color, but for the detection, color detection, it is made blue color or it is made red color. Actually in pure form it is purple colored only, but for our convenience, by mixing some chemicals, actually it is made blue color or red color. So now when litmus solution is neither acidic nor basic, suppose neither acidic nor basic, it looks purple only actually. But what is the importance of this litmus? Litmus paper, here two types you already know, blue litmus paper or blue litmus solution you can take. So this blue when you how to test acids means you already know. So if you bring acids in contact with blue litmus paper turns into red. Blue litmus paper turns to red. In the same manner, if you take bases, if you add litmus paper to bases, so that means bases turn red litmus to blue. Bases turn red litmus to blue. That point is important. Acids turn blue litmus to red. Bases turn red litmus to blue. Okay, now that is important point. So how to test acidic and basic nature of substances using litmus paper? So you take orange juice, for example, orange juice. So orange juice, if you dip that litmus paper in orange juice, so what you are going to get? Orange juice converts blue, because orange juice contain acid, so it converts blue litmus to red. Orange juice converts blue litmus to red. In the same manner, suppose you take washing soda solution, washing soda, so it is a base. So orange juice contain acid, washing soda contain base, sodium hydroxide, or soap solution you can take. So mainly sodium hydroxide, so it converts sodium carbonate, sodium hydroxide, all these chemicals will be there in this. So washing soda converts red litmus to blue. So from 6th standard or 7th standard, you know how to test the litmus. But just different unknown solutions are given, you are asked to test whether the solution is acidic or bases. there litmus paper will find, you will find use of litmus paper very easily. So in the same manner, there is one more indicator, turmeric. Already you know it is a natural indicator, turmeric solution. It is a natural indicator. Already you know turmeric solution, it is yellow color, haldi we call it as in Hindi. In cooking we use this turmeric paste, turmeric solution. It's a natural indicator, it is yellow in color. So what happens to this turmeric? It turns red in basic solution. So turmeric solution, it is yellow in color. So if you add any base to this turmeric solution, so turmeric solution, yellow turmeric solution turns into red, or you can call it deep brown. Deep brown. See, generally, sometimes while eating food, if any curry fall on the cloth, white cloth, so you will notice yellow stain of curry on a white cloth, right? Yellow stain of curry on the white cloth. So it turns reddish brown when soap is scrubbed on it, right? So suppose immediately what we do, in order to remove that yellow stain, we wash that one with soap. So immediately it turns into reddish brown. So when a soap is scrubbed on it, okay, right? So again reddish brown color turns yellow when the cloth is rinsed in water. So here what I want to tell you is, whenever if you notice a stain of curry, yellow color stain on the white cloth, immediately we will wash with soap solution. Soap solution is a base. So immediately that stain turns into reddish brown, and after that immediately if you wash that reddish brown with excess amount of water, again it turns into yellow. So here turmeric solution is also a natural indicator. And one more example of natural indicator, red cabbage extract. Other one is red cabbage extract. So it is also, red cabbage extract is also a natural indicator, right? It remains red in acidic solution. Suppose in presence of acid, same, it won't change its color, it remains red only. Red cabbage extract, already it is in red color. If you bring that red cabbage extract, if you treat with acid, it remains red only. Suppose if you bring red cabbage extract in contact with any base, so what happens? If you bring if you bring this red cabbage extract in contact with base, so it turns green. It is also a natural indicator. So red cabbage extract in presence of acid, it gives red. In presence of base, it gives green color. In the same manner, many examples are there for these natural indicators. Colored petals of flowers. Colored petals of flowers. So here there are certain flower petals are there. Hydrangea, petunia, geranium. So like this, different colored petals of flowers of certain plants, hydrangea, petunia, geranium. So which change the color in the presence of acids or bases. They can also act as indicators, right? So this, suppose for example, if you take hydrangea plant, actually it is in blue color. This one is in blue color. So this plant, when you brought this, generally if you bring this plant petal, that is flower petals of this hydrangea, it is actually in blue color. If you add any base to this, the blue color turns into pink, right? Blue color turns into pink. So that is also important point. And like that, colored petals of flowers also acts as indicators. So students, and some more here, other indicators we are discussing. Methyl orange indicator. What is that indicator? Methyl orange indicator. See, actually, if you take this methyl orange indicator, this gives red color in acidic solution. Methyl orange indicator gives red color in acidic solution. The same methyl orange indicator gives yellow color in basic solution. Remember this point. Methyl orange indicator, it gives red color in acidic solution, it gives yellow color in basic solution. Very important. Next, if you take phenolphthalein indicator, it is colorless in acid solution. It is colorless in acid solution. The same indicator, it gives pink color in acidic solution. Phenolphthalein indicator is colorless in acidic solution. It gives pink color in basic solution. Right? Phenolphthalein is colorless in acidic solutions. It gives pink color in basic solutions. So conclusion point: methyl orange indicator gives red color in acidic solution. It gives yellow color in basic solution. Phenolphthalein indicator is colorless in acid solution. It gives pink color in basic solution. Right? These points are very, very important for competitive exams. So next, students, we will discuss about small topic, olfactory indicators. So what is this olfactory? What is the meaning of the term olfactory here? Olfactory means relating to the sense of smell. Olfactory means relating to the sense of smell. So what are olfactory substances? So those substances whose odor means smell, those substances whose odor changes in acidic or basic solutions. Those substances whose odor changes in acidic or basic solutions are called olfactory indicators. I think you understood what is meant by. See, olfactory is a term related to the sense of smell. Those substances whose odor changes in acidic or basic solutions, we call them as olfactory indicators. Those substances whose odor changes in acidic or basic solutions are called olfactory indicators. See, this one more key point. This indicator usually works on the principle. What is that fundamental principle here involved? What is the main fundamental principle involved? See, when an acid or base is added to olfactory indicator, then what happens? Then its indicator loses its caustic smell. Right? When an acid or base is added to olfactory indicator, then its caustic smell, its characteristic smell can't be detected. So this indicator usually works on the principle: when an acid or base is added to olfactory indicator, then its caustic smell can't be detected. Right? Example, you already know onion extract. Example for olfactory indicators: onion extract, vanilla extract. You can take. See, onion, you already know onion has got a characteristic smell. Right? Now what I am doing is, I am taking a cloth soaked in onion extract. What I am taking here is cloth soaked in onion extract. Just onion paste, you cloth soaked in onion extract. So when it is treated with acid, what you are going to observe? No odor change. There, it won't loses its odor. Onion smell will retain. No odor change. So in the presence of base, suppose if you bring that, suppose NaOH, if you take cloth soaked in onion extract is brought in contact with a base, so it cloth loses its odor. What is that? Cloth loses its odor. Cloth loses its odor. That is a key point. So in the same manner, you can take. Did you understand, students? Cloth soaked in onion extract, if it is brought in contact with an acid, no odor change. Odor remains same. Nothing will happen. Suppose if the same cloth soaked in onion extract is brought in contact with the base, what happens? That cloth loses its characteristic onion smell. So this is one example. In the same manner, one more example, vanilla extract you take. So vanilla extract, cloth dipped in vanilla extract you take. So when it is brought in contact with acid, so acids see, vanilla extract has got pleasant odor, sweet smelling odor, you already know. So vanilla extract, when it is brought in contact with acid, no odor change, same pleasant smell you are going to observe. Suppose if it is brought in contact with a base, so what happened? Bases can destroy the pleasant odor of vanilla extract. So bases can destroy the pleasant odor of vanilla extract. Bases can destroy the pleasant odor of vanilla extract. So I think you understood, students.